spatial analysis can tell us everything. Some of those things are not true. And so the real value in spatial insights is understanding when the spatial relationship between two things is significant and when it's not.
Anything with a location, anything that has a place or describes a place can provide you information about that area. And from that information, we can derive knowledge. And that knowledge helps govern and direct how decisions are made.
Something like just trying to figure out how many schools you need in a school district. You need to do a lot of different spatial and statistical analyses. You need to be able to think about the drive time to be able to get everyone as efficiently to school as possible. And that means creating a network of roads, understanding where traffic builds up and why. But it also means understanding where housing is going to be built in the future. So all of that is the type of spatial analysis that doesn't just rely on the fact that there's a simple spatial relationship, but that there's one that is significant and that we can understand how to take a future activity and make that work more effectively for our customers.
GIS is primarily can be used as an asset management tool. So like what is currently in the real world? What are our assets? Where are those assets? We can assign information about the condition or the performance of those assets. And when we have all of our information about those assets kind of in place, and we start looking from a route to a county to a statewide view of everything, then you can really have a good sense of like what is actually going on. Where do we put our funds and resources to improve safety, to improve performance of our roads, to make it more efficient to get goods and people from one place to another.
I wish there wasn't such a divide between the people that do know and the people that don't. If you go to your local government and you try to talk to them about, hey, I realized that if you would put a sidewalk right here, you would have a connection between all of these different points in town and you'd be able to create this network of places that could have business and education and health benefits. Likely they will not be ready to use that data. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, you have a lot of really big tech-heavy firms that are mining everything out of spatial data to be able to change your insurance premiums and maximize their profits. But that middle ground where we can make sure that same type of data is being leveraged to make small but meaningful improvements in the way that we work as governments and companies, that's where I think there's a real gap in where GIS is being used and how it's being used. Just making sure that people are aware that the barriers to entry are actually pretty low and there's a lot of room to grow in that space is really important.
It's a structure of data that is just so accessible to people. You don't need to be a professional engineer to understand the data. You don't need a master's degree. It's spatial. People understand maps.